Hello everybody, Kazembe Abena here again. Reiki Master Teacher, Tantra Practitioner, DJ, Dom, etc. Glad to be back. This is actually Male Healing Part 3. The responses have been so great that I've decided to continue, and there's a lot to say on the subject. There's really a lot to say on the subject, so please, everyone, please continue to inbox me if you have questions and continue dialogue underneath the comment section of this video and others. And just share this stuff. Please continue. Please continue. The responses that I've had that are coming back to me are great. Some men are saying that, hey, this is exactly what I needed to hear. This is a wake-up call. How do I do this, Kazembe? How do I open up? How do I connect? So this is something that that is needed. And again, I am not exempt from this as well. There's a saying that says, you teach what you learn. So this is just I am not exempt from this. I'm being called to the carpet just as I believe others are. So this is good. This is really good. So let me continue. So acceptance. I think we live in a society that does not honor truth. I think it honors. I think it really truly honors just maintaining the status quo, and I think it rewards maintaining the status quo. But I think it rejects even truth. I think it rejects a certain type of authenticity. And of course, I don't think you can have truth without being authentic. So when we're talking about acceptance, we have to be prepared to accept someone else's truth. And we also have to be prepared to realize that perhaps their truth is far different than ours. And if we're talking about communication and vulnerability and things like that, and someone healing, I think people heal from expressing and living in their truth. They heal from being their authentic selves. So if we're going to aid in that, we need to make sure that we are laying a space where they can be that. Far too often, we are not. Far too often, we are not. And to the extent that we do not allow people to speak their truths or to live their truths is to the extent that we have not accepted things within ourselves. I know that to accept some differences can be tough. So I'm not talking about that you have to agree. But I am talking about adopting a philosophy that says, okay, you know what? That's not what I would do. But this person that I'm talking to clearly is not me. And they need to have this experience, or they need to do this, or they need to do whatever they need to do. And I'm talking about doing things that are not harming someone else, and that are not involving children and things like that. So that, so I'm talking about things other than that, which is a lot of things. But I think we get caught up and we become very self-referential in our world. And I think that we need to open up our hearts and our minds and to say, okay, even if I disagree with something, it doesn't mean that I have to condemn it. So when we are asking someone to be honest and true because we're looking for them to heal, and again, they really truly won't heal unless they're honest and true in their expression and in their vulnerability, then we need to make sure from our perspective that we are laying and providing a space, laying the groundwork for that person to be accepted, which means that we cannot critique, we cannot condemn, and we cannot persecute. That's huge for us. I think it's one thing to say, sure, you can express yourself, but it's another thing to not want to condemn them for it. And I think that is something that is difficult in this culture because we kind of have a us versus them mentality. We have a segregative type of mentality and type of culture. So even groups are formed because we're not them, we're us. And while I get that, I think that we need to keep in mind that we are all souls expressing a part of the Creator, and that we each have our divinity in that. I also want to offer that a person living in their truth and living authentically is their way of living through God. Because the only truth is God, the only truth is love. So if they're doing that and they're being honest about that, then they're on their divine path. And it doesn't mean what religion they study. It doesn't mean what spiritual system they're a part of. If they're being honest, they're being true, then they're doing what they should do. Because when you are true and when you're living through your divine path, you are setting yourself up to receive and experience the lessons that you were meant to experience so that you can evolve. If you're living outside of that, they're just not going to come the same way. And you're off your path, you're misaligned, you're not connected, etc. So it's for these reasons that I would say that living authentically and living connected with God are really one and the same. They're one and the same. Now, often, however, we have fears about living authentically and about being true. Why? Well, I think it's obviously about rejection. Men in particular, well, I think men and women, but I'm going to talk about men here. We really feel fear about being rejected. If I'm not a part of this community, if I'm not a part of this family, if I'm not a part of this job, if I'm not a part of this group, this church, then am I a man? And who am I? And what's my what am I? What am I good for? Obviously, I think that as human beings, we are largely we operate in packs. Man was not meant to be an island. We operate in packs. We operate to be a part of something. So if we are rejected and estranged and kicked out and ostracized, that hurts. And we begin to question our entire reality. I think we really need to keep that in mind when someone is coming before us. We need to ask ourselves, number one, are they speaking truthfully? And have we allowed them to speak truthfully? So actually, let me back up. We need to ask ourselves, number one, are we prepared to hear something that is different, that is foreign to us, and that we don't agree with? And are we prepared to not judge it? Are we prepared? And can we still give that other person who's coming to us the support that they need to be themselves, to live truthfully, to live honestly, to live in their divinity? Can we do that? Can we allow them to forge that relationship and that connection with God? Can we allow them to do that? Because that's ultimately what I believe people are doing. When people are in their rhythm, their divine rhythm, when they are in their divinity, they're living through their divine purpose and they're on their divine path. The thing that is the most divine is the Creator. I believe that's what they're doing. And yes, I don't care if it's someone who's Christian and they decide to change to Islam. I don't care if it's someone who's straight who decides that they are gay or bisexual or lesbian. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have to be allowed to express themselves in a way that explores, that really reflects their truth. A lot of people want to do a lot of things, but they just feel like they won't be accepted. So they bury them deeply. And I want to say to you, those of you who are burying your innermost desires and it's things that have been nagging you for a long time, I want to say to you that those things are never going to go away. They never, ever, ever are. They were put there for a reason. You are supposed to do that. You are supposed to explore that. You are supposed to express that. Because in that lies your life and your lesson. It's not an option. Someone may tell you it is, but it's not. It wouldn't be there in the first place. So when we encounter this with other people, We need to be prepared to accept it. Because when we are accepting other people's truth, we are accepting their divinity as well. I'm going to stop there. It's about 10 minutes in. I told myself I would not make another 20-minute video. So I'm also going to post a longer video about this because it's just so much to say. But I'm going to post this one first, and I'm hoping that it will start the conversation. I'll post a longer one afterward. But this is Acceptance, Male Healing Part 3. My name is Kazembe Abana, and let's keep on sharing, and let's keep on loving, and let's keep on healing. God bless.